Hey guys, it's me, Jack24 here. Today I'm going to be reacting to the wonderfully amazing kind of Jurassic Park found footage, the Muldoon Logs, episode 12, Buck and Doe Origins, which this should be interesting. So I do have a few things to say first. For one, for those that don't know, I kind of forgot to mention this until last video, but until wait into the last video in my reactionary series, but for those that don't know, I was planning to originally go into college for paleontology, since paleontology has always been a bit of a lifelong interest and passion of mine. However, kind of during my second year of high school, I kind of realized that paleontology was more of a lifelong hobby and passion rather than something I would want to pursue career wise. So, instead, I decided to go in film, but I keep up to date with nearly all of the most paleontological news that I can find and get my hands on via videos and stuff, since that helps me with visualizing stuff, since I don't have an imagination, like I don't have a mind's eye. So since I have aphantasia, so I can't see anything in my mind when I try thinking of something. But that's besides the point. Anyways, pretty much I keep up to date with nearly all of the paleontological finds that that I can get my hands on and discoveries. But anyways, that's enough about me. Let's go with, well, let's see. Aliwata's Muldoon Logs. This series has personally been my favorite to wait for, like, nearly every, like, bi-weekly to kind of wait for a new episode to drop. Since, I kid you not, this is one of my most favorite things just to watch. Because Aliwata does an amazing job with catching and hooking your attention throughout it. Kind of is very, and I do mean very amazing this is this little series on YouTube. That's not to denounce it, to denounce his series. It's just to place on the comparison that his series on YouTube is more creative than all of this stuff currently ongoing with the Jurassic World franchise, which is a bit sad, but yeah, then again, it's not too. No, the movies aren't too bad. It's just, it's just not what it could have been. It doesn't live up to its potential. Anyways, before I begin, there are just only a few little brief copyright things I gotta get over with, so please stick around for this. So, first of all the copyright for Jurassic Park belongs to, give me a sec, Universal City Studios, LLC, and to Emblem Entertainment, Inc., and all of the video copyright that's going to be most important is Aliwata. Zaliwata, and he does an amazing job with doing animation, storytelling, and more. Also, I will say that, give me a sec. I will say that we should be going supporting more from the original content creator, because I kid you not, I actively look forward to each new episode dropping. And honestly, I just want this series to continue for as long as Aliana wants to create it. Since honestly, I don't mind if what do you call it, if he gets hired out from it and doesn't want to continue his series anymore. That's something I understand, although I'll be upset about. But, that's not anything too bad. So there would be a link to Aliwata's channel and to the original video in the description down below, which I highly recommend y'all click on his video, leave his video a like, and make sure to comment in his video, and to also watch the full original video to help support his channel. channel, so that way that helps boost his stuff in the algorithm and grows his channel, and also provides us with newer and newer content because I genuinely love this. Love this with a lot of passion, and I really, really am kind of enjoying the storyline. I know that my series of reactions to it is mainly weekly. I know that could get a bit annoying for some people that are like, oh, you should do something else. Stuff. This is my channel, I get to decide. Without any further ado, let's begin. Well, for anyone that's seen any of my previous videos, they'll know what I'm about to say. Velociraptor antirophus is not a real animal, nor a real species of velociraptor. Velociraptor has two main species, and that is Mongoliensis, and I forget the other one, but it begins with an O, and both lived in, well, in what is now modern-day Mongolia, but yeah, Velociraptor antirophus is actually Deinonychus antirophus, which lived in North America in the early Cretaceous, where Velociraptor was more mid to late Cretaceous than early Cretaceous. And Deinonychus is like about 4 feet to maybe 4'5" tall in real life. I'm giving it the benefit of overestimation size for it being taller than 4 feet, but you never know with a species, but you know. And effectively, a paleo artist back in the 80s, back in the mid to late 80s, named Velociraptor antirophus, well, named Deinonychus that in an art book, Michael Crichton saw that, and although he knew that Deinonychus was the correct term for his upcoming book that he was kind of in the stages of planning and was writing around that time when he saw that paleo art book, and this was during the time when he finally figured out who his antagonist was. He was originally going to place Deinonychus in, but that kind of went out the window. And he decided just to use Velociraptor just because it sounded a bit more intimidating and easier to pronounce for the average reader. Although the films that were going to adapt his book in 1990 from about films were originally going to fix this mistake, but in some drafts they fixed it, in other drafts they didn't, and the film that we ended up with, obviously doesn't have that, but although the raptors in the films are way bigger than their novel counterparts, because if I remember correctly, their novel counterparts were like 5 foot, like 5'6" maybe, meaning like I could literally look at one of those the novel raptors in the eyes, standing up with no shoes on, which isn't fun for me, but I would say yeah. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself and stumbling over what I'm trying to say. Is that in the films, the raptors are a bit bigger due to the fact that Spielberg at the time heard rumors about a giant raptor being unearthed, and around a little after when Jurassic Park did its theatrical release, that's when Utah Raptor was described and published and made known publicly. Fun fact, Spielberg almost had his name attached to Utah Raptor due to his search for giant dromaeosaurs. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself and lost in thought, and let's continue. Tape 12.
Yes, Muldoon?
Can you account for all maintenance personnel at the present moment?
Maintenance? Hold on. Pulling up the roster now.
This concerns maintenance shed Delta 7, the small bunker out in the jungle by the drainage run.
Delta 7? Yeah, I know the one. Why?
Ray, I
Oh,
checked
what?
the shed a minute ago. Door's locked. And now I'm hearing something inside.
Inside the shed.
Pounding. On the door.
Hold on, Muldoon. I pulled up crew locations. All right. Maintenance teams are accounted for. 2 in the vehicle depot, 1 in the north fence line sector. Electrical crew is over at the geothermal plant.
Anyone scheduled for Delta 7?
No, nobody's assigned there today.
Anyone missing from their stations?
Not that I'm seeing.
Ray, something is
Wait a
definitely
sec.
inside the shed.
You sure it's not equipment, pump cycling, or something?
No pump makes a noise like someone hitting a steel door.
Agreed.
The door is still locked.
Wait a sec. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Thought I saw something.
No, nobody's assigned there today.
Anyone missing from their stations?
Not that I'm seeing.
Ray, something is definitely inside the shed.
You sure it's not equipment, pump cycling, or something?
No pump makes a noise like someone hitting a steel door.
The door is still locked from the outside, right?
Locked. I checked it myself not 30 seconds ago.
You want me to send someone out there?
Negative, not yet.
Muldoon, if someone's trapped in
The
there...
keypad is on the outside. Door can be opened from within.
Okay,
And you're certain no one's scheduled to be here?
positive. Muldoon, could it be an animal got in somehow? You know there's a fair few monkeys here.
Oh, I know.
What do you want to do?
First thing I want to know is if your system can tell me when that door was last opened.
Checking. Give me a second. Okay, the last logged access to Delta 7 was yesterday morning. Routine inspection.
By who?
Maintenance tech Alvarez.
And he came back out?
Yes, at 10:34 a.m.
Alright. That's good.
And since then?
No entries. The door hasn't been opened since.
Ray, whatever is hitting that door wasn't in there yesterday then.
I can't say. There are no surveillance cams on Delta 7. What do you want me to do?
Oh my goodness. That was a bit strange. Let's go back.
Hasn't been opened since.
Ray, whatever is hitting that door wasn't in there yesterday then.
I can't say. There are no surveillance
Damn. The raptor was in the
cams on
reflection.
Delta 7.
And now it's gone. Wait a sec. Hold on, I think I saw it. Hold on a sec.
Hasn't been opened
Muldoon
since.
takes a little
Ray,
while to
whatever is
turn
hitting
around.
that door.
Sorry, guys. I'm just gonna look here. Raptor is there. And let's see. It's close, but yeah, there's a little blur back here. I don't think it was that particular raptor running because I think that the raptor that was nearby, or at least from what Muldoon saw was nearby, or what the camera picked up as nearby, could have been as close as about this branch in the background where my mouse is at, which could make sense for it running off in that direction, or it being a bit deceptively close because sometimes reflections are weird, or this could possibly be a raptor that just was right by him, and when Muldoon went to turn around, the raptor quickly ran into the bush, or quickly ran that way. Sorry.
What do you want me to do?
Why am I hit with ads? I'm trying to do a reaction here, not watch Geico ads, but sorry guys, I just want to do that one more time, so that looks like if Muldoon is close and that's there, then that's most likely, give or take, 10 feet away. So, yeah. I'm thinking that the raptor was probably about here or so, since we saw last time that there was a clearing in this area in that direction. So I think the raptor was about in between these two logs, and and ran off behind cover. Cover, since we can see it beginning to turn about here.
Whatever is hitting that door wasn't in there yesterday, then.
I can't say. There are no surveillance
Since it
cams on
began.
Delta 7. What do you want me to do?
Yeah. To be honest, this is a tough situation since I know Muldoon definitely saw that. That's why he turned around, but as someone that's looking at the footage and has the ability to rewind and look at it with a bit better quality than what they had in the early 90s, I would safely say that Muldoon, if he ever had time to analyze any of his own footage, would be doing what I just did and just being like, wait, what happened?
Muldoon? Update me, Muldoon.
Where is Alvarez now?
He should be at one of the vehicle depots according to the roster. Why?
Check on him right now.
Okay, one moment.
Tell me, Ray,
Yep, maintenance tech Alvarez is at the vehicle depot.
you're positive?
Yes, he was telling me about his team spotting a discolored compy. He said it wasn't green, it was brown.
Ray, send
Wait a sec. A discolored copy, it wasn't green, it was brown? Since I know Aliada's universe is kind of a mixture between the novels and the films and kind of Aliada's own stuff, since we'll see in like just like a sec or two, like what that would entail. But let's see what else. Since if it's a brown compy, then that either must mean it's a female compy, or it could be the other option, and that could just be a baby raptor. I'm gonna head with the latter and just assume it's a baby raptor because in the novel there were tons of baby raptors out and about, and some were sneaking to the mainland by, well, sneaking onto a boat, but they were a bit clumsy and were spotted by Tim and Lex via binoculars. So, yeah.
me Robbie. Tell him to bring a trank and a torch. I'll call you later.
Huh? That's not good at all. Um, Alright. Come on. Step out into the light. Let's see who you are. I know you're not a person because we heard the call signal from Jurassic Park 3. So we know you're a raptor of some kind. Ooh. Snout? No, it's too red. Oh no. It's weaving a trap. Alright. Please don't be another raptor.
Afternoon, Muldoon.
Jerry, in your travels around the island, what would you say is the largest non-dinosaur we have around here?
Oh, probably a howler monkey. Have you seen one of them around?
I wanted to kill one earlier this month.
Why?
What's the largest howler you've seen?
They can get pretty big, up to 4 feet tall. Pretty strong, too.
All right. Thanks, Jerry.
Sure,
Speaking of said howlers, that is one.
Cooling
Why are we getting ads?
down up to 8.
Sorry, guys. I don't mean this to disrespect how I wanna, but I gotta keep skipping these ads because I'm trying to make, well, a reaction video and commentary on it. And I'm not here to do commentary on it, but I'm more than glad to be able to view said ads to help the original creator with, gaining more money. So, yeah.
Who do you think this belongs to, Robbie?
I don't know. All maintenance personnel wear a red helmet.
Keep this door wide open behind you. Haven't been in here for a while now. Where's the light switch?
Here. Oh, looks like it's dead. There's another one at the bottom of the stairs.
Keep the torch right over my shoulder and tail me.
Got it. What do you think, Muldoon?
I'm hoping it's a howler that's gotten in, found a safety helmet, and is now...
Wait a second.
And is now...
Shit.
That sounded like...
Muldoon, are you okay?
Yeah. I'm okay, Robbie.
Ooh.
How's it feel?
I think I've sprained it.
Can you put weight on it?
Oh.
Okay, that's a no. You stay here, Muldoon. I'll have a quick look around.
No,
I've
Robbie.
got my trank. I've got my torch. I'll flick the lights on and we're good. 1 minute and I'll be back. Then I'll
Robbie, I'm hoping for your sake that you do come back.
help you back up the stairs.
Robbie.
Hey, who came to your rescue yesterday?
Don't get cocky, Don't get cocky, Robbie. That never ends
need
well.
you to let go of the idea that I'm a junior. I want to progress up the ladder.
Robbie, you're not...
I agree that you want to progress up the ladder, but you should still be listening to a guy that might know a thing or two more about survival.
No junior. You're the only one I rely on.
Then rely on me this time. 1 minute, I'll find this monkey and turn the power on from the box. And then I'm out.
Be careful, Robbie.
I got this, Muldoon.
Alright. That is one awkward walk cycle, but I'm not gonna judge.
I thought there was a light switch here. What's the deal?
Huh? What was that? Wasn't there, but we know that there's a raptor around here somewhere. Wait. Is there space underneath the stairs? Please don't tell me that there is. Wait. Hold on a sec. 3, 2, 1. Go. Yep, that's a raptor. Would have gotten him too if it weren't for that staircase.
Muldoon, what are you doing?
Robbie, bring your torch here.
What did you find?
I don't know.
I couldn't find anything. You okay?
You seeing this all right, Muldoon?
Pictures coming through clear. What am I looking at?
Just give me a second.
I haven't been to Site B in so long.
I want to show you our progress here.
Progress? This should be interesting.
And then it
Someone
takes
needs to turn the
Just-
saturation down.
Oh,
gets it.
I've lost you. Tony?
Just behind here. And then I can show you if the image is not coming through all right, Muldoon.
Oh
It's
no,
chopping
coming
out here
through.
and there, Tony.
Ooh, the
Yeah,
non-Muldoon
communication is a
perspective,
disaster here.
and first time we're seeing Sight B in the series.
Tell me if you can't see.
Okay, no, it's better now.
Aw, look at these tools. Aw.
Oh, wow, they've grown considerably since I last saw them.
10 months old, hatched within 3 days of each other, practically raised together from the moment they could stand. Tyrannosaurs, male on the right, female on the left.
Buck and Doe. For those that don't know, Buck and Doe are the names of were the fan given names to the T-Rexes, to the T-Rex parents in the Lost World Jurassic Park, meaning that, yeah, because Roland makes the side comment of he wants to hunt a male, a buck, saying like that. So that's how the male got stuck with the buck title, and correspondingly, the female got the doe title. But it seems so cute.
Look at the way she's leaning into him there. See that?
I do.
They do that all the time. Nuzzling, leaning, sleeping side by side. It's not something we expected at all.
Yet those two look like littermates in a kennel.
Exactly my thinking. We've been watching them for months, and they're virtually inseparable. If one moves, the other follows. If one beds down, the other curls up right beside it.
That could complicate things later on, Tony.
It might, but right now, it's fascinating. Social bonding in tyrannosaurs wasn't something the models predicted. The geneticists were expecting more territorial behavior, even at this age.
And instead, you've got them cuddling.
That's one word for it. I'd call it affiliative behavior, early stage pair bonding. Could be developmental comfort, or maybe tyrannosaurs were more socially tolerant than we thought.
How big are they now?
Considerably I would say in like the 90s, early 90s and late 80s. A lot of stuff with Tyrannosaurus being social wasn't exactly more confirmed, like still isn't really still confirmed now. But knowing some relatives such as Albertosaurus, Gorgosaurus, Daspletosaurus, all kind of had similar ranges and may or may not have had more family group-like behavior. And considering that we found a few fossils of T-Rex with younger individuals, like Sue with a few other individuals, but it should be noted with the case for Sue and all the others that we found together, that applies also to the Albertosaurus, the Daspletosaurus, Gorgosaurus, so on and so forth, that it could have been possible that they all kind of died while they were trying to either, like, mass feed on a carcass, or, they all got washed away in a flash flood together, or that they were, just traveling and tolerating each other, not like a pack dynamic, but more of like, like, alright, look, we're tolerating each other at the feeding frenzy because we just need to eat food, and plus there's enough food to go around. It's kind of like that kind of a deal, if that makes sense.
About 2 meters nose to tail. Still awkward, all legs and curiosity, but they're growing fast. Another year and there'll be something else entirely. The female, see the heavier skull ridge starting to form?
I see it.
She's developing beautifully. Strong bone structure, stable temperament, excellent feeding response. If she keeps progressing the way she is for another year or so, I think she'd be a prime candidate for transfer over to the park.
To the park?
Exactly. 2-year-old tyrannosaur, young enough to adapt to a new enclosure, old enough to handle transport stress.
Tony, you're aware the adult we've got hasn't even taken kindly to the juvenile we already house.
I've read the reports. Dominance displays, intimidation, some chasing.
More than chasing, she's made it quite clear she doesn't want the youngster in her territory.
That's expected though, isn't it? Tyrannosaurs are apex predators, territorial by design.
Which raises the question why anyone would want to add another.
Well,
Agreed. I will have to agree more with Muldoon with this. Why try adding more and more tyrannosaurs to the same enclosure? It's not like that they're family, but even if they're family, they're not gonna tolerate each other being within the same territory. I mean, they wouldn't be nearly as aggressive with, each other as, like, we see in the current Rex be with Rexy chasing with Roberta chasing the juvenile Rex. I forget what I nicknamed her. I swear I come up with a nickname for the juvenile Rex each time it comes up. Since I can never remember what I previously named her, I'm just gonna say Little Rexy.
here we're not just observing animals, we're refining them, testing combinations, trying things the park can't risk doing in front of guests, such as permitting embryos to develop into males. That's a male tyrannosaur right there. We have two others, engineered deliberately.
Here, it's all sandwich, no sausage.
On Nublar, yes. Out here, we have a little more freedom. The whole point of this island is engineering and experimentation.
And what exactly are you experimenting toward?
Reproduction.
Natural breeding.
Precisely. If we can get stable breeding populations, the economics change overnight. No more expensive cloning cycles every time we want a new animal.
You just breed them like livestock.
In a sense, yes. One successful pair could produce multiple offspring over
I mean, that's true.
time. That's a massive reduction in costs compared to building every animal in the lab.
Provided they don't.
I would say it's a 50-50 because, I mean, would it work for maybe the first two generations? Yes, but I would also have to say that interbreeding and incest could become a problem real quick, like within maybe like the second batch if that's between the second batch of, like, the first hatch naturally, that would still be an issue. So yeah,
Eat one another first.
That's why we're studying their development now. Behavior, compatibility, hierarchy formation, everything.
And the female you're showing me?
She's calm, observant, adaptable, exactly the sort of temperament the park prefers.
You make it sound like you're selecting racehorses.
It's not that far off, honestly. You've got to admit, though.
I mean, Tony and Robert aren't exactly wrong. They are kind of picking them off similarly to like how you would be describing like how you would purchase, a racehorse, but describing all the best qualities and best characteristics and personality and attitude, kind of suggesting like what the future generations could be if they are allowed to breed and mate and produce, more offspring for the future.
Look at them.
I am.
Two tyrannosaurs behaving like house cats. If someone had told me that 5 years ago, I'd have laughed them off the island.
Tell me.
Agreed. Because even though that we might think that, oh yeah, we don't know what their behaviors are, but around this time, since if he says directly 5 years ago, that would have been in 1986. So really, that wouldn't have been a thing that would have crossed into anyone's minds, because this was still, even though I know Tony's more the paleontologist, this was still a new field no, not really a new field to be studying in. It's just that paleo behavior is something that's really hard to determine by fossils, and still is hard to determine by fossils, because all we have are just kind of the bones, and that's really it.
Who decides which animals make the cut for Nublar?
It's a committee, genetics, veterinary, behavioral paleo, myself or Sarah. Hammond or Wu have the final say, though.
And the criteria?
Stability first. Animals that handle confinement without excessive stress. Predictable feeding behavior. Limited aggression toward barriers or vehicles. Visual appeal helps too. Remember, Muldoon, these animals are going to be seen by tourists eventually. Why do you ask?
Who approved the big one to come to the park?
Probably Wu.
Of course.
These are your
Why am I getting ads? No. I'll have to admit it's a little cool to see, but I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to watch a video on dinosaurs and not be interrupted by ads. I'm sorry, I'm not interested in not cooking meals factor. I would prefer cooking my own meals, but let's go.
And beneath the lodge will be a series of glass viewing areas that look out onto the...
Ooh, alright. For those that don't know, in the novel there is a pterosaur paddock, and it is really, really, how would I say it? It's like really, it's pretty large, nearly finished. And also, it's only in, like, maybe a chapter or so, if I remember correctly, since it's been a little while since I read the novels. And I know only a little bit from what Aliotti's done in the past. Know that he's going to be including some creatures like a plesiosaur and some other stuff in that I don't believe was originally in the novels on Newbar. I don't believe that there are any on Sorna in the novels as well. But then again, this is Aliotti's universe, and let me see.
this tributary of the Jungle River that runs through the aviary. There isn't much in here at the moment, just some fish, but the idea is to stock this tank with marine reptiles and whatnot that guests can view on foot. This tank is netted off from the rest of the river so the animals don't swim out. And the Jungle River cruise ride won't pass through this area, but through the water current deeper within the aviary.
Yeah, so beautiful.
And they've definitely got their work cut out for them. Terratop's lodge is still far from completion. When finished, the lodge will serve as a second form of accommodation high within the aviary. Progress is the slowest on this attraction, though. I think it's because some of the workmen here are hesitant. They say they don't like working within the animal enclosures, especially when the animals are also within the enclosures. But John and Henry insist on acclimatizing them even before work inside the aviary has wrapped up. John and Henry clearly have never worked with animals. You can't judge an animal the moment it steps into a new enclosure. Not a predator, not a herbivore, not anything with a pulse and instincts intact. First thing it does is assess every smell, every sound, every boundary. It's not living yet, it's calculating. Where's water? Where's shelter? Where's the threat? Until it answers those questions, you're not seeing the animal, you're seeing a reaction. Acclimatization is the difference between behavior and stress. People are quick to label an animal aggressive, or docile, or unstable, when in truth, it's just displaced. You take something out of its known environment and drop it into a new one. It will test that environment. It'll pace, it'll probe fences, it'll refuse food or gorge on it. None of that tells you what the animal is. It only tells you it doesn't trust where it is yet. You give it time, though, things start to settle. Movement becomes deliberate instead of frantic. Feeding becomes routine. It begins to map its territory, establish comfort zones, preferred paths. That's when you start learning something useful. That's when patterns emerge. And patterns are what keep people alive. Out here,
Wait, why is he not wearing a
that
harness?
process matters more than anywhere I've worked. These animals aren't just wild. They're engineered, placed into environments that are approximations at best. If you rush the judgment, if you decide too early that something fits or doesn't, you're making that call on incomplete information. And with animals like the ones here, incomplete information gets people hurt, or worse. So you watch, you wait, you let the animal tell you what it is on its own terms. Only then do you decide whether it belongs or whether it never should have been brought here in the first place. And on that sober note, that ends my log of...
Aw.
Christ, I forgot these
Nautilus.
guys were in here too. Nautilus. I think there's a handful of them in this tank.
They are beautiful creatures. Even though that they look prehistoric, they are actually still in our oceans today. And they are beautiful creatures. Although, a little terrifying and weird to look at, but, hey, that's just our personal views.
Majestic creatures and really give off a prehistoric feel that boosts the aesthetic of what Jurassic Park is striving to
Huh?
achieve.
Oh, no.
Oh, Christ.
Hold on, buddy. Let's get someone out there to help. And although I'll bring this up in the next video, is that I'll be comparing parts of Pterodactylus from, its Jurassic Park / Jurassic World counterpart. Is that, yeah, so yeah, we'll see how that goes, but also, I feel bad for that worker. We need to see if he gets alright in the next episode. But that won't be till next week when I decide that. Anyways, for now, I will end it here. Anyway, so, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like to Aliata's original video. Please comment on his original video. Please go check out his original video. Watch it in its entirety, so that way you get the full experience and don't have a weird interrupting narrator kind of pause and talk about whatever comes to mind when watching. As Aliata's done an amazing job, and I can't wait for more. And links to his video and channel are in the description. All of the copyright belongs to Aliata, and all of Jurassic Park's copyright belongs to Universal City Studios, LLC, and to Emblem Entertainment, Inc. And anyways, I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.